Firstly, I'd just like to thank you all for joining me for this holy matrimony. Do you, Katherine, Emma, Gilson, take Mr. Hugh Marston Hefner to be your lawfully wedded husband? And sadly, if you asked me a few years back, my answer would have looked something, well, a little bit like this. You see, my parents taught me to have goals in life, but I think somewhere along that line, the types of goals that they meant got lost in translation, as sadly, for the longest time, my goal was to marry my darling Hugh. You see, with Hugh Hefner, all I saw was a mansion, cool cars, and beautifully made up girls, and most certainly not a horny old man and girls there simply for the fame. Now, you can imagine my disgust when my mum kindly informed me that this was not an achievable goal. I looked something, well, a little bit like that. Now, I don't think this goal randomly came out of nowhere. I think it was due to being exposed to my all-time favorite stories and movies, Cinderella and Barbie. Cinderella's life was changed by a stiletto heel. She suddenly found herself in a castle and with the best clothing ever and the man of her dreams. And while Barbie, beautiful hair, beautiful clothing, and Ken. Then, Netflix released the series Yummy Mummies, and while all was confirmed. You see, these women were 30 weeks pregnant. They were in the tightest dresses imaginable, and heels. They were beautiful. They had the best cars, nice houses, and nothing was held back. From this show, I learned 3 lessons. Number 1 is that never, ever can any event be half done. It always needs to be overdone, over the top. Number 2, cankles, big tummy and all, you will always leave the house looking presentable. And lastly, and my personal favorite, a push present. Unless my husband wants to give me a present after 9 months of torture, there will simply not be a child in sight. But I'm jumping the gun, so let me start with the definition of a yummy mummy. It states, an attractive and stylish young mother. So what does this mean to me? There will be no such thing as a tracksuit mother. Your makeup always needs to be done to perfection, even if that's the minimal I want to look natural look. Your hair is always blow-dried to perfection. You have a house that top billing would want to have showcased. You have a modest car sitting in your driveway. And lastly, the best anti-aging skin products on the market. And by that, I most certainly mean Botox. Now, I know what most of you must be thinking. How superficial of you. But don't worry, you're not alone. You see, there's a huge stigma around being a yummy mummy. People see the handbags and the Botox, and they forget that they are the way they are because they've made this lifestyle for themselves. They have achieved the way they look. Of course, barring 1 or 2 lucky individuals that manage to find themselves a sugar daddy, and they're an inspiration to us all. But if I haven't convinced you that there's more to a yummy mummy than bags and Botox, let me show you 3 women who inspired today's talk. Number 1 would be Reese Witherspoon. She's an extremely successful actor. She has a beautiful family, and she always makes time for herself. To me, she is the embodiment of a healthy, balanced lifestyle. Work, yoga, and family. Second is your ultimate momager. She single-handedly built an empire for herself and her 6 children. Her attitude, style, and determination to help her children succeed is why she made the shortlist. But to be honest, the scene of Keeping Up with the Kardashians alone would have made the cut. And lastly is Jennifer Aniston. She may not be a mother, but she is yummy. She's got a successful career, a gorgeous husband, and she lives her best life. So from these 3 ladies, I started thinking more in depth of what a yummy mummy means to me, and I created 3 profiles. The first is a yummy yoga mummy. This is your stay-at-home mother. She wakes up, she gets the kids ready for school, she drops them off in her premium activewear, and then heads off to grab a coffee and a walk with the other mums, or she goes to her yoga class, which naturally entails a green smoothie and lunch afterwards with the girls. She then goes to Woolworths, does the house admin, fetches the kids, does their homework, cooks a nutritious dinner, and then settles down for the night. The second one is your yummy corporate mummy. She wakes up in the morning. She gets dressed in that stunning pantsuit or dress and lovely stiletto heels. She grabs her matching handbag and laptop bag, heads to work for the day. but she makes it home just in time to ensure that she has dinner with the kids every single night. But this includes kicking off those devilishly uncomfortable heels that she wears just because they complete the look. She has to look stylish. But then she'll go to bed and start her next day again. Our last profile is simply yummy. Forget the kids. You wake up in the morning. You have a slow coffee in bed, read your magazine, scroll through Instagram, do a bit of work throughout the day, nothing too hectic, you don't want to stress yourself out. Then you unpack your bag from your previous trip or repack your bag for your trip that you're going on. You go for a great dinner with your husband, and then you get a restful night's sleep. Throughout these 3 profiles, I saw 2 things in common. The first one was the yummy factor. Regardless, you always look presentable. And the second one was the modest car. What now to me is clearly a G-Wagon. I would settle for a Range Rover or a Porsche too, I mean, I'm not fussy. Now, this all sounds fabulous, but within each of the profiles, there are undoubtedly challenges. So starting with your yoga mummy challenges, I'm scared with the lack of mental stimulation that I would get bored throughout the day, and the fact that I'm not financially independent. I know it sounds lovely living on your husband's money, but I don't necessarily want that. With your yummy corporate mummy challenges, the 9-to-5 lifestyle. If workplace learning taught me anything, it's that I'm definitely not cut out for it. And because of the 9-to-5 lifestyle, you have less time with your children every single day. And your simply yummy challenges is the lack of stability. Jet setting here, there, and everywhere is great, but I don't think your home base is complete. And the fact that there's no kids. I don't see that for myself. So where do I see myself? You see, I don't think I fit into any of the profiles. I've never desired to stay at home. I've not just studied for 4 years to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. I want to use all the skills and knowledges that I've gained across these 4 years to make something out of myself, make a name of myself. So where does this leave me? I think if my mum ever asked me again, what's your goal? What do you want to do? It would be simple. I want to be a Kate Yummy Mummy. I want to get a job that I enjoy to achieve my full potential, get a gorgeous husband who's kind, ambitious, brings out the best in me, to have a beautiful house with children, kids running around, 1, 2, or 5 golden retrievers, and lastly, to be a successful mother with kids that are always smiling, to always look presentable, but mostly to be smiling. Not wide enough, because Botox, but wide enough knowing that I've created this lifestyle for myself. I've done this. You see, I think deep down inside, I know that a yummy mummy is one that's glowing with happiness. But shit, the designer shoes and handbags would definitely not hurt either. Thank you.